Hey everybody, Badge the Panther here, or I guess I should probably say, Heartbeat the Fox here. I'm rebranding my channel yet again, and I'm back again too. Wow, I can't even imagine how many times this has happened. I believe this is the third time I'm changing my persona to something completely different, and I can't even count how many times I've said I stopped uploading and then came back again. It's been happening so many times at this point, it's not even funny. But nonetheless, yes, I am rebooting the channel yet again. I discussed in a previous video that I want to come back to rankings again because discussing music, I barely have an outlet for that, and this channel is kind of the only place for me to do it. It's hard to find people who willingly listen to my interest in music, especially electronic music, because to be totally honest, I don't know much about outside genres outside of EDM, so this channel is kind of my only go-to for that kind of thing. But I digress. Back in my top 100 Monstercat songs, I discussed that I kind of want to stop doing rankings because I felt it was becoming a bit calculated, and the idea of analyzing music was kind of missing the point of music in the first place. But my opinions since then have changed. Because I just love to discuss music. I mean, obviously everyone's going to love talking about the things that they love. And in this case, that's the same for me when it comes to music. I love discussing music. I love inspiring more deeper thinking about music, providing critiques for artists to work off of when creating music. I also want to connect with more people who share my passion for music as well. And I want to get more active with that as well. I want to get more active with this channel. I want to connect this. I really want to bring a community here, get a community going, if you will. And not only that, but I also want this channel and my artwork to be a place of positive encouragement for others. A safe place for those who just want to get away from all the chaos of the cynicism and negativity of the world. I want them to have a little safe space for them to come to, so that they have a place to go to, so they have someone to connect with a more positive outlook on things, rather than someone who's going to be like, oh yeah, well, if you look at the evidence here, our world's clearly fucked, and look, there's nothing you can do about it, and you're a disgrace for even thinking a certain way. Oh my, so much of YouTube is turning into that. That's not even funny. It's straight up sad. And I don't want my channel to be like that. I want to create a channel with much more positive, has much more of a peaceful, welcoming, positive aura to it. Even if I'm just kind of talking about music and critiquing it, which I'm about to talk about negative topics now and then, because that's kind of the idea of critiquing. I still want to give it a more positive element. I don't want to just tear down music. I want to be more constructive in my criticism. Point artists in the right direction, or inspire a new way of thinking about certain songs or albums or artists, or really anything having to do with music. And I do want to do the same thing with my artwork. Obviously, you guys know I'm a big artist, a big digital artist, so I want to create my artwork to encourage that kind of mentality as well, give out the same kind of vibe, build up a welcoming community, encourage a more positive outlook on life, rather than just the cynical toxicity that's being pumped out there. I just want to use this positive energy to encourage others to make the world a bit happier, to be more hopeful, and create a more welcoming space. And which is why has encouraged me to go through this whole rebranding with my channel, and pretty much everything else, really. Not just this channel, but I also opened up a new Twitter account. I've opened up a fresh new Instagram account. The reason why I opened a new Instagram is a completely different story. Some things are best left unexplained. Also I'm also getting ready to open up a new Fur Affinity page, which hopefully should be ready by the time you're watching this video, so the links to everything will be in the description below. Do follow me there. I'm also renaming my DeviantArt page as well to Heartbeat, for obvious reasons. Heartbeat is going to be my new persona. Speaking of which, yes, I am changing my persona yet again. This time it's a female fox, a blue female fox. I still love Passion the Panther, don't get me wrong, and I'll always keep her around as a character. I've had her for how long at this point? At least a year and a half, at least, I think. About a year and a half, I'm going to say, somewhere around there. But in terms of my goals, I think it would be more fitting create a persona that just by design has a much more positive aura to it, and one that's much more vibrant, that's one that has a more welcoming aura to her. And with that, I came up with Heartbeat. Heartbeat the Fox. She's an enchantress who harnesses her magical powers through music, and she uses that magic to change the world around her in a positive way, which is kind of a similar kind of mentality to what I'm planning to do with my videos, my artwork, and everything else. Obviously, there's no magic behind it, but yeah, I think you get the idea. It's more of a symbolic gesture, if anything. And just like my persona, I want to create a more optimistic atmosphere in the world while pushing back against the cynicism and hate and despair that's being just pumped out by so many people on the internet and in real life. I think that's really sad, and I want to push against that. I want to be a positive cog in the wheel in this whole like social media and YouTube atmosphere, especially in the furry fandom too. The furry fandom is going through a lot of shit due to the toxicity and the negativity and the politics that's been kind of poisoning the fandom for quite some time at this point. I want to push against that. I want to create a more welcoming, positive atmosphere for not just the furry fandom either, but in general. Like obviously, I know there are plenty of people who watch my videos who are not furries, which I'm okay with that. And if you're one of those people, hey, welcome. Glad you could join me for the ride, despite my despite my choice of branding. But yeah, I just want to create a more positive atmosphere, encourage people to be more positive, and help them push against a lot of the despair and negativity and the toxicity that can easily affect anyone. It's contagious, and in the same way that hope can be contagious, and that's the kind of mood that I want to give off. I know a lot of people out there who act like they're giving off a positive aura, but they're just not, and they're just constantly pumping up more negativity, making all these calls to action that are just like completely hypocritical. Obviously, I can't talk about that too much. That's another topic for another day, which I probably will talk about at some point, but let's just take one thing at a time. Needless to say, Heartbeat will be the star of my rankings going forward. Again, Passion will still be around, probably be the host of other rankings for other labels. Like, I'm thinking maybe making her the host for the 99 Lives rankings. Since I imagine that kind of music would probably be her style, personally. I'll probably find another role for Neon Hyena, but we'll tackle that once we get there. Haven't planned everything out yet. I'm still working a few things out. I figured it might really just start getting the word out here while I'm still early and setting everything up and getting things ready to really reboot the channel and just let you guys know what's coming ahead, because I think these changes are going to be pretty ambitious, which is why I've decided to open up a Ko-Fi page. If you don't know what Ko-Fi is, it's basically kind of like Patreon, but much easier to use, much simpler, and kind of a lot more straightforward. It has a lot more unique features to it, I think. At least ones that in my position, I'm able to take more advantage of. Ko-Fi is basically where you can go to donate money to my craft, my artwork, my videos. The Ko-Fi, basically what this Ko-Fi page is going to be doing for me is not only going to be funding my art projects, but also help fund the channel as well. Because if you know me, I don't touch 2 character programs to as a source for my music. Just because not only is the program incredibly shady, but I want to attain music legally. If I'm going to do this as a source of income, it's gotta be done in a way that's legal. I can't just be grabbing music through online means for free. Not only it's just legal, but it's easier for me to work with, and it also allows me to support artists that I'm going to be discussing. If I'm going to be critiquing their music, I think it would be fair for me to directly support them with money. Because that's how artists do what they do. They need money to survive. Especially since making money as a musician is very difficult. And I want to be able to help support that. So by donating to my Ko-Fi, you'll also be supporting the artists that I discuss here on this channel. And not only that, but donating through Ko-Fi will also allow me more opportunities to talk about artists and labels that are outside of labels like Monstercat, 99 Lives, or No Copyright Sounds. And allow me to explore more of the EDM scene. And if donations become frequent enough, that will also help me fund my art program, my artwork. That way, if donations come in frequently enough, I'll be able to use some of that money to focus more on the artwork as well. I'll still keep doing working on this channel, obviously, if I do make that amount. But by all means, this is kind of like a side project of mine, while the artwork's kind of my main focus. This channel is going to be what kind of brings in the income for me to be able to work on that artwork. And by using this channel as a form of income instead of my artwork directly, I think that'll allow my artwork to come off as much more passionate and much more genuine than if I'm to use my artwork directly as a source of money or income, which is a struggle that I've had for quite some time. And I think this will probably be the best solution in my position, especially since I'm in kind of a position where I'm really struggling to find a day job. So if you guys can support me, I really appreciate it, and allow way more opportunities for both this channel and my artwork. You don't have to donate if you don't want to. That's completely up to you. But if you want to, please do. I appreciate it so much. Like, you guys have no idea. Donations are a minimum of $3. And the higher you donate, the more I'll be able to put into this channel and my artwork. And if you have a specific artist or label that you want me to do rankings for, donating through Ko-Fi will be the best way to make that happen. And let me know in the comments if you want me to tackle those topics. That way I know that way I can use the money to buy the album, and then I'll be able to get straight to talking about using the music to make the video and discuss the topic. But I guess while on the topic of labels and stuff, I also want to take this as an opportunity to offer an apology towards Monstercat. A couple of videos ago, I made kind of a call-out-ish sort of video discussing Monstercat's recent involvement with NFTs. For those of you who haven't seen the video, Monstercat is basically doing this program called Relics, which is basically just an NFT program sort of thing that they're doing to bring in income for their artists. But NFTs are kind of shady, the money laundering, they pollute the environment. If you want to know more about that, go back, watch the video, or just do your own research. When I made the video, I was in a really spiteful place. Obviously, if you put so much trust into a label like that, and they do something like this, that's gonna kind of feel like a betrayal. Especially if you're really attached to the artist, which, to be fair, I'm not sure if getting attached to a company is really all that healthy, which it's probably not. But with that, I guess I kind of came off as kind of spiteful, kind of negative, kind of cynical, which is kind of the opposite I want to do here. So I think I should offer an apology for kind of the more hateful, kind of like apathetic things that I said, because I understand why they're doing it. When I was making the video, I kind of overlooked why they're doing it, what their motivations are for it. Their main reason they're getting involved with NFTs right now is because they want to offer income for their artists, which I think is a very noble thing to do, especially in a time right now that inflation is on the rise. And I'm not sure if inflation is really affecting countries outside the US, but I think you still get the idea. Inflation's going up. It's already been hard enough for artists to make their income and to make money, to make a living, especially if they're signed to certain labels. But now that COVID is making prices go up, I think that's going to make it even more difficult if they can't pay for the things they need. If they can't make enough money to get by, not only are they going to be in a lot of trouble, but they're not going to be able to fund the music projects that they're doing, which is kind of the thing that they do. So no money, no income, no music. And that's going to be very unfortunate, not only for the artists themselves, but for the people who listen to that music, for the people who admire these artists, who look up to them, cherish the art that they make. Then without that, we don't have the artwork, and we're kind of left in a very uncertain place. And that's kind of unfortunate. Another reason I want to give Monstercat a second chance is just because, in general, the EDM scene is involved a lot with NFTs. If you look on Twitter and look up Instagram and stuff like that, you'll see artists. If you look on Instagram and Twitter, you'll see a lot of artists who have NFTs as their profile pictures. Stuff like, the Bored Monkeys, the Lazy Lions, Bored Monkeys, Bored Apes, that's what they're called, but you get the idea. That just comes to show how much of the EDM industry is really getting involved with this whole NFT quote-unquote craze. Because EDM, for a while, it's always been about the technology, so when this new technology comes around, I feel like a lot of artists involved with it, like, oh yeah, it's the new technology, I'm gonna work with technology, therefore I should probably hop out on this new innovative technology, ooh. Even though that's not a good idea for obvious reasons. If you look online, there's artists like Martin Garrix, Jaws, Kygo, Bassjacker, Steve Aoki, Half an Orange, Don Diablo, Deadmau5, Blau, Varian, the Fat Rat. All are getting involved with NFTs, and that's not even mentioning the artists who are directly getting involved with Monstercat's Relics program. That's a lot of artists out there getting involved with NFTs. It's a huge chunk of them too, especially since some of these are also own labels of their own. Like Steve Aoki, I believe, owns Dim Mac. Don Diablo has a label of his own, although I don't remember what it's called. And Deadmau5 has a Mousetrap label. So those are three labels that are obviously going to be very NFT affiliated, even if it's just through the people who run them. And on top of that, labels individually like Spinnin and Dirty Bird are also doing NFT projects as well. So that's a complete that's a complete disappointment. But so I think that just comes to show, if I were to go out of my way to completely avoid people and companies who are getting involved with NFTs, that's going to take an immense chunk of my music library just out the window. And not only that, but I'll also be depriving myself of these pieces of art that people made, and the ones that I cherish, the ones that I've held deep to me, artists who I've looked up to, like people like these. To completely push them out of my life just because they got involved with something that they shouldn't, is going to really cut out a lot of what I love. And it's so prevalent in the EDM scene right now that, to the point where if that's really something I want to avoid, I might as well just completely ditch the EDM scene entirely, and I just really don't have the heart to do that. I love the music so much, I love the community so much, I just don't want to leave that behind just because a certain group of people decide to do something not so cool. And obviously, I'm not trying to defend NFTs here. I'm not getting involved with NFTs myself. No. I'm not gonna do that. It's just like there's so much of it. Like I can't avoid all of it. And if I try to, there goes my involvement with the EDM scene. And I think these artists should definitely look for other methods to make income, like merchandise or selling vinyls or, I don't know, crowdfunding. Like, knowing these artists, they have devoted fan bases who I'm sure would be more than happy to support them through a crowdfunding, like what I'm doing with my Ko-Fi. Like, there's so many other options. Like, NFTs, they shouldn't have to be your first resort. I don't know why so many of these, well, actually I do, it's because they think they look at it as like, ooh, innovative technology, oh yeah, EDM is all about technology and innovation, might as well get into that too. That's a really flawed mentality. But regardless, I just kind of criticized Monstercat in places by it. I overlooked what their motivations and intentions are. Obviously, intentions are not the same as effect, but it's worth keeping in mind that this whole situation is not necessarily the fault of the artist. In fact, in the case of Monstercat, it's not really their fault. It's really more so the faults of the higher-ups. People like Mike Darlington, who made the decision to get involved in this shady business practice. Even though I'm pretty sure plenty of employees are they probably can't admit it, but they don't agree with this whole NFT project either. I'm sure that they're looking at the situation and thinking, like, just because the CEO did something stupid, that doesn't reflect the actions of everyone in the company. If I worked at Monstercat, I'd be very mixed on what to do in that situation. And to me, just to ditch Monstercat like that would also be ditching every other talented person, every talented graphic designer, every talented artist, the people who run the podcast, who do the artwork, everyone else who put their heart and soul in making all this music possible and providing it to us. To ditch Monstercat will also be kind of ditching them and probably preventing us from offering them the income that they need to survive. Because like I said, inflation is making things very difficult for not only artists but a lot of people in general. To take from the company will also be taking from them, in my personal view. Obviously, I'm sure there'll probably be plenty of people who leave their counter arguments, which, go ahead, whatever. But to me, I believe Monstercat deserves a second chance. I understand what they're trying to do. I just don't agree with the way they're doing it. And I think I owe them an apology for being so apathetic towards them and being so quick to just jump the shark and ditching all the people who I look up to. So I'm sorry. I let my frustration get the better of me, and I didn't respond in the most polite or understanding way possible. So I'm sorry. And plus, leaving Monstercat will also be leaving the community, and I've been with the Monstercat community long enough to know that there are some amazingly passionate people. It's the creative people, understanding people who not only adore music but also understand it enough to appreciate it even more and are incredibly artistic themselves. Some members in the community are DJs now. They're learning to become producers. Some of them are digital artists like I am. To ditch that would ditch the community, and I don't want to do that. I think that's kind of unfair to ditch a community just because the entities that holds this community up is just a bad apple, or at least the higher ups who run it are bad apples, to say the least. I think you get the idea. I'm sorry that I did this. I came to this conclusion, and I believe Monstercat deserves a second chance, especially if there are plenty of other opportunities for them to make an income for their artists. You know, like I said, merchandise, crowdfunding, make vinyls. I'd love to collect vinyls. I don't have a record player myself, but even just as a collector's item, I would buy that in a heartbeat. And to kind of bring this back to what this video is mainly supposed to be about, I'm getting ready to reboot my ranking series again, so yeah, welcome back again to the Monstercat ranking series. Again, I'll be continuing on with the Monstercat compilation albums that I haven't gotten to yet, as well as expanding to other labels outside of Monstercat as well, so I can explore as much of the EDM world as possible, whether it be mainstream or independent. I want to check it out all, I want to discuss it all, I want to share some of my favorite tracks with you and help provide critique for these artists and the musician and the music, so that they can improve. I don't know if any artists actually watch my videos, but if they do, then I hope they get something out of it. And again, if you have any specific artists, labels, or albums that you want me to do discuss on the channel, donating through Ko-Fi will help increase the chances of me being able to make those videos happen. And again, you let me know in the comments below, or if Ko-Fi allows you to add messages to your donations, you can also let me know through there. That way I know that what the donation is for. Ko-Fi will not only help me expand outside of Monstercat, but also allow me to work on other things as well. It'll help me pay for groceries here. It'll help me stay afloat. It'll help me have some kind of income in a place, in a moment, in a time where I don't have work. If you're able to donate, I really appreciate it. In return, I'll keep on pushing out content, pushing out more videos, pushing out more artwork, and working to rope in the community here. I think that's mainly what I want to do with these creations of mine, is to get people's attention and bring them into a community which involves love for music, embracing one another's differences, and creating an environment of hope and optimism in a world that has grown so jaded and cynical and spiteful and divided. I want to push against that, and I want us to be a light in the darkness right now. I want to help build a community that's positive, look for the good in everything. I want them to look at situations and take action rather than just sit around in despair. I want a community that's more hopeful, and that's exactly what I want to build with this channel and my artwork. So anything you can do for the channel, even if it's just joining through the Discord or anything else like that, or just getting involved with the community, or just being a part of it, that would mean the world to me. So do follow me on social media, join me on Discord, join me on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, comment on my videos in the future, and let's just get a community going. Let's create a friendly, welcoming environment where these differences that we all have don't matter. Let's create a more loving, welcoming world, one step at a time. We can start making the world a happier place through this community that I intend to build. I know this may sound a little egotistical for me to hype up this community so much to this extent, but it really is something that I'm very ambitious for right now, and I think that's my main vision for the things I create, to help inspire more positivity, to inspire more optimism, more hope, more encouragement, especially for people who are surrounded by all this despair-inducing outlets and people who are constantly shoving this cynical attitude down their throats. I want to create a safe space for people like those. I want to create a safe space for those who need a place to go to, who want a friendly environment where they can come to. I think building this community might just be the best way to start. And if you guys decide to join along, I appreciate it so much. So if you can, please come aboard, join in. I love to have you as part of this community. And I think with that, I've said everything I need to. That's your update that's probably been going for half an hour. I rambled like heck with that, but it felt so good to get that out of my chest. And all these plans that I've recently had. I hope you guys are excited for it as much as I am, because I'm very excited to get this ball rolling, get a community going, unite people, and create a positive environment where we can talk about music and just hang out with each other, maybe make a new friend or two. That would be fantastic. And if you guys want to join in, you're more than happy to. So if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Yeah, follow my socials, all they're all linked in the description below, and support me on Ko-Fi. That's going to be the biggest way you can support me. If you cannot support me, if you don't have the money for it, I understand too. Continuing to support me and watching my videos, it will also be a big help as well. So if you can do that for me, I'd be immensely grateful. So thank you all so much. Thank you for listening, and I hope you are excited for what's to come. I'll see you all in the next video. I'm not sure which one it's going to be yet, but I'm currently in the process of making new expressions for heartbeat, so it might be a little bit before that comes, but in the meantime, I'll be sure to fill in with more other kinds of videos to keep the channel at least active until then. So thank you all so much, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you so much, and take care.